From Studio 226 in Orlando, Florida, this is Aging Smarter. I'm your host, retired former circuit judge Jose Rodriguez. Now, I am here because this podcast is dedicated to inform, educate, entertain, and amaze you about life's journey, regardless of your age. If you're a human being, and I hope you're not an extraterrestrial, whether a student, a caretaker, an attorney, a guardian, or any other stakeholder involved in the care of someone who is aging, or if someone needs assistance in their daily life, then you're involved in dealing directly with the aging process. And at times, you may feel the weight of that responsibility, particularly if you are unprepared. This podcast, Aging Smarter from Studio 226, is focused on making it easier to grow older and to prepare for the future, regardless of your age. The title of this podcast is The Elephant in the Room. Let me explain why this is called the elephant in the room. Why do we call it the elephant in the room? Well, if you ever saw an elephant in person, or even on TV, or in the movies, or sitting in your living room, you know that elephants are bigger than big. They are enormous. And if an elephant would happen to be in your living room or any other room in your home, chances are you would not ignore the elephant. The elephant in the room is our call to pay attention to the obvious, the unavoidable. What's that? Aging. Every one of us is doing it. And the unavoidable expiration of our time on earth is such an elephant, obvious and unavoidable. I'm sure you've noticed how many ways we have of saying dying without saying dying. Phew. We do tend to avoid that elephant, don't we? And I just demonstrated it by saying the unavoidable expiration of our time on earth. No doubt you've noticed that we are living longer and fuller lives. This can be attributed to medical discoveries, new treatments, and an awareness of how to adopt and live a healthier life with healthier lifestyles. Still, we need to be prepared for the times that we may not be able to express our wishes, or be prepared for someone else to make those decisions for us, whether we like it or not. This elephant in the room episode will be divided into three parts. We will talk about living, we will talk about dying, and what I call the time in between. We can either pay attention and prepare, or ignore that unavoidable reality that is the elephant in the room, this aging elephant, and by ignoring it, the elephant, we can opt to completely be unprepared to face the consequences of aging. Denial of the realities of aging is not only foolish, but it can certainly interfere with the way life is enjoyed, not just by us, but also by those around us, those who love us. Now, who wants to let that unavoidable old age elephant creep up on you and deliver its unpleasant surprises? What surprises, you may ask? Well, it's having relatives, friends, or other well meaning individuals make decisions for you. Decisions that you made completely, wholly, totally, completely. I said completely, didn't I? Let me repeat it. Completely disagree with those decisions about your health care, about your belongings, where you live, what you can or can't do, as well as how you spend your hard earned money, your carefully invested and saved assets. Someone else will have the opportunity to tell you if you don't tell them what to do and you don't leave that in writing. Let us recognize that all of these decisions made on our wealth and on our welfare can be made by us ahead of time, and we don't have to leave those decisions to anyone else. Well, we now are ready to start talking and tackling that elephant in the room, right? By aging smarter. So let's take advantage of the wisdom of years and our experience and the experiences of others. Let me begin by tossing some philosophy out there for you. Marcel Proust wrote, "We don't receive wisdom. We must discover it." We must discover it ourselves after the journey. It's a journey that no one can take for us or spare us from it. So, okay, let's start our unavoidable journey into aging. Let's bring along our elephants in the room. We'll divide our elephant journey into 3 parts. First, we will discuss our own longevity elephant, and we will discuss it by using U.S. Census statistics. Second, we will talk about our memory elephant, and there may be significant consequences of fading memories and cognitive loss, which we'll talk about. And finally, we'll talk about the protection and readiness elephant, or how do we prepare to reach the end of our journey or that race towards the finish life of life. The finish line of life is something we don't see, but the finish line of life is out there. Each and every one of us has a different finish line, and how it comes up and how prepared we are is what this elephant in the room is about. Now, as I mentioned, there are going to be 3 parts. Part 1, the living longer, the longevity elephant. Well, shall we dive into that? Just like the elephant in the room with us, there are facts that we cannot avoid and have to accept. According to the latest census, we are living longer. Kathy Greenlee, former Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services for Aging of the Administration for Community Living, tells us that from now, meaning back in 2014 when she wrote this, until 2030, every single day, about 10,000 baby boomers will celebrate their 65th birthday. And the fastest growing population is people 85 years or older. Imagine that. Take boomers, baby boomers, for example. In Florida, you would believe that the number of boomers is growing faster than the rest of the United States, right? Well, it grew from 291,000 in 1950 to 2.3 million in 1970 and 5.1 million in 2020. That's almost 22% of the state's total population. And that is expected to still continue increasing into 2030 to 5.8, almost 6 million persons over the age of 65. These are figures from the latest census in 2020. So we're halfway to the next census and halfway past the last census. So those figures obviously can be tweaked depending on how we continue. And if the trends continue, we will continue to expand that large number of individuals growing and coming to Florida, as well as, well, just nationally. The forecasting was done regarding these figures by not just the U.S. Census, taking U.S. Census figures, but by the Bureau of Economic and Business Research of the University of Florida. So you can bet those numbers are much higher now, since we are, again, years after the last census. So even if we only consider statistics, the facts are that we are living longer. Our elephants are living longer. So going by the numbers, our increase in longevity is a fact. Let's consider what we should do to prepare to live longer, to profit from that newfound longevity. I'd like to compare that course of our life to a race. Remember, I talked about the race and comparing it to a track that's ahead of us towards the finish line. And sometimes it's clearer than others, but we can't really see the finish line. Why? Because we don't know when we're going to pass away. Oh, wait a minute. That's another way of saying dying, isn't it? Just like the expiration of our time on earth that we started with earlier in the episode, in the podcast. So again, we don't know when we don't know when the finish line is going to be right up ahead. And in our race, we need to be prepared for the obstacles that we will have to overcome in order to be able to reach that final destination, the finish line. Our greatest priority should be being prepared to reach that finish line in as comfortable a way as possible. Quality of life, quality of going away, quality of saying goodbye. First, our bodies have to be prepared for the race. Our bodies have to be cared for, tuned up, and protected along the way. Well, according to an article on the online magazine AARP Health, again, written by Beth Howard and published on February 28, 2023, and then again updated on May 9th, 2025, there are seven, seven, seven parts of the body you should not ignore after 50. I'm in there, so I cannot avoid. What are they? I mean, isn't it kind of like obvious? Can you guess what they are? Well, I'm not going to make you guess, but these are intuitively important parts. According to the AARP Health article, the body parts we need to take better care of as we age are your eyes. You want to see the finish line. Your teeth and gums. Your feet. Oh my God, calluses and bunions. Forget dancing the merengue, the cha-cha, or anything else. Your feet are important. Next is your pelvic floor. What do I mean by that? Rodriguez, what are you saying? I'm saying, ladies, gentlemen, you need to make sure you check your plumbing. Urologists, make a visit. Make sure that you take care, because otherwise it could be very, very difficult and the quality of your life will be affected. Hips and knees. With the advances in hip and knee replacement, it would be a shame to go through life or the last episodes of our life without the magnificent results that hips and knees nowadays, as they are replaced, if necessary, uh, give us or yield us. Our ears. Last thing we want to do is not hear our grandchildren and them laughing and chuckling or laughing at us because we don't hear what they say. And finally, the seventh part of your body is your core. Exercise, strength building. So, naturally, to run a long race, all of these body parts should be working well and together. That's the way to enjoy our new longevity and longer life. Now, in a future episode, we'll take up in more detail the above list of body parts and how we should take care of them. But for now, we have established the first fact that drives our podcast, that we are living longer and that we need to prepare for our bodies to last through the long race. In just a moment, we will be taking a short break. So don't go away, because we'll be right back about the second fact that drives our podcast: the fading of our memory, mild cognitive loss, and dementia that may be related to aging.